Alright, welcome back to the Kyrpton Report. I am your host, Tyler Patrick, and with me is the Jimmy Olsen to my Supergirl, the lovely Jania. Hello, Jania.
Hello, Tyler. Hi, everybody.
Alright, so we're going to talk episode 2, Stronger Together, directed by Glenn Winter, once again, after directing the pilot, a good old favorite of ours in the superhero TV DC genre. So let's just jump into anything. Real quick, some things to point out with this episode. I know you liked it, and I was unsure on how I felt when they did the lines like, it looks like a job for Supergirl.
Yeah.
And a single bound, stuff like that. I was kind of like, okay, we can't get a little bit more original here with Supergirl?
That was cute. It was kind of classic. It was fun.
I like that we got a good mention of Clark Kent. That was cool. We got a name drop of the Daily Planet.
Yeah.
Now, one thing is, I made my notes here that Helgemite in the comics was not an alien, but in this they made him out to be an alien, so that was kind of cool and different.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, and I find this just ironic, is the fact that in Season 1, Episode 2 of Smallville, Clark fights a bug. Pretty
That's
much.
funny.
It's called bugs. So, yeah, patterns. It was neat that they did show Kara with Crystal Tech, and the way Kyrpton looked like a blend of the Man of Steel Kyrpton and the Donner Kyrpton. Just the way everything is kind of setting up.
Gotcha, yeah.
Now, this is one thing I was wondering. Why is the DEO not worked and paired with Superman before? Like, why is it so just, they're like, oh, now Supergirl's here?
Yeah, just to the area that she lives in. I don't know. It's kind of strange, isn't it?
It made me wonder. I was like, why are they not doing more? Like, if they've been hunting these, why is, like, all of a sudden now we have the Fort Ross issues? You know, like, have they've been doing this for a while? Like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like, why is Superman not taking care of some of these aliens? I feel like there's more to it as we develop this story.
Definitely. I think that maybe the reason why Superman doesn't want to work with them is because, you know, he can't be Superman there. You know, he can't do what he's trying to do underneath of their watch. I think that's a lot of it, honestly. I think he's more, like she said, he's more of a loner.
Yeah, that's a good idea. No, okay, so, boom, opening scene, she goes to help. She asks the police chief, what can I do? So obviously she's trying to get help. She didn't mean to rip the boat and spill oil. They could have told her, lift the boat and do this.
Or push the boat, you know, instead of pulling on it.
You should always push, never pull. They teach you that in safety, like every job. Now so where do you think National City is? In the DC, like...
I'm not sure. How about you map it out for us, Ty?
Well, my thing is, I feel like National City was made up for the show.
Okay.
I couldn't find any comic reference. If I'm wrong, someone please tweet at us. And it definitely is somewhere coastal. I mean, we know, like, just, they shoot in California, because CBS has money.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you see the palm trees. But when I think that, I think Coast City. So, and this, we haven't had any other named city drops except Metropolis so far. And I know that, I need to go back and watch the pilot, because I know Jimmy makes a comment about, like, a directional move he made when coming to National City. So, but it just looks too West Coastian. So, I don't know. Maybe it's near Coast City. I don't know. Just trying to figure out my DC here. Now, what I really thought, we got a small intro to Maxwell Lord, which is cool, and we'll talk about his character more later. But the idea that kryptonite is very rare, and like she didn't really know about it till last episode, and then they show it in this one. And I like the idea that kryptonite is not that common.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to see a Superman story, really, where there isn't kryptonite. Because then what?
then there's nothing that can stop him.
Exactly. You have to...
But then there's no struggle. There's no challenge for the superhero. You know, you have to have some kind of a pull. You have to have some kind of a challenge. And
So? He's Superman. She's Supergirl.
Yeah.
They don't need no kryptonite. Okay, this I thought was crazy. That her, like, we're in episode 2, and it's like they're pulling out everything. Like, boom, her aunt attacks her.
Yeah. There's a lot in that episode.
Why? Like, that's kind of like the reveal you would think they'd wait till, like, the mid of the season, not episode 2.
Yeah.
Why did the aunt's Astra speed up everything right now? I'm just like, holy cow. She does, though, and this is one thing I worry about. When she shows up with 2 other Kryptonians. So there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a hash of Superman 2.
Right.
Where she's like a General Zod figure. And then we have her Non and Ursa, basically. We know that Non's coming. I don't think one of them was Non. But basically, okay, so what's going on? You know, more Kryptonians on Earth. Giving the other Kryptonians a bad name.
Right.
So I was just like, wow, that's a lot for episode 2.
Definitely.
She has to fight her aunt. I did like that the aunt had no idea of kryptonite, though. She got shanked.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I did think it was funny when she tried to save a snake from a tree instead of a cat.
Let's talk about that for a second. Like that whole, you know, montage area where she's saving different things, going through, you know, the more small, you know, crimes or whatever is going on, the more small crime, or like, you know, issues. She's taking care of those. And I really love that. I really love that montage and everything. And it shows that she's really trying to become, you know,
the hero character.
Yeah, but she's working on it. It's not just something that she jumps into. And I love that about this character so far. I feel like with Superman, yeah, like he had to work on it. I mean, and of course I'm just talking about Superman in general here, guys. Mm-hmm. You know, he had to work on it. But I definitely feel like it was more easy for him, you know. But for her, she's kind of living in his, you know, now perfect shadow. So she's trying to become a hero where there's already a perfect hero, you know. So that's really difficult right there for her. But I love seeing the struggle. I love seeing the challenge that she's going through, and I love seeing her arc into this really cool superhero that she's going to become. It's just really neat. She's definitely paving her own way, making her own path.
And that shadow is always going to be something huge, and it's kind of sad. It's like a bittersweet.
Right.
Now, one scene I loved in this episode was where Alex takes Kara into the room and turns on like the kryptonite lamps, and they fight. Because they always thought that something like with Superman was he needed to learn how to fight, not rely on his strength and his powers, but just learn how to actually fight.
Right.
And I always thought that would be a cool scene between like Superman and Batman, where like Batman's teaching him how to actually fight,
right,
in an environment where they're on an equal plane. So I thought that was awesome that Kara can actually learn how to fight and use her skills and not just rely on her powers. See, Solomon agrees with us.
Yeah, he totally does.
I did think it was neat how at the end we kind of have a fortress of solitude for Kara. You know, there at the DEO.
Yeah.
Only her hand can enter it, so I thought that was cool. Now, before we get to the big what the moment that you had, that you looked at me like, huh? Let's look at the fact that Kara's, a way that this show is different with, and we'll just use Flash Arrow, is you have Team Arrow, you have Team Flash working, but Kara has 2 teams. She has her DEO, and then she has Jimmy and Wynn and her doing Supergirl stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat. They have their own little, like, 2 different sides. But Jania, how familiar are you with the character of Hank Henshaw? Because when his eyes went red, you were like, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Hank Henshaw. Not a whole lot. I mean, I know a little bit about him.
Well, in the comics, Hank Henshaw, his family and stuff were killed, and Superman wasn't able to save them in time. And then Henshaw later went crazy and kind of had multiple personalities, so to speak, where he wasn't sure of his identity, but he became the Cyber Superman. And I'm wondering where they're going to take this character.
Yeah, because you can already tell they kind of hinted at his loss. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about what Henshaw's going to be.
That's very interesting.
Now, we got some new casting news. We're going to get a new character called Senator Miranda. He's going to be played by Tawny Cypress. It's going to be a character created for the show. She comes to National City. And Emma Caulfield has been cast as Cameron Chase. Now, Cameron Chase had a comic book series where she was a DEO agent that had just a series called Chase. So I'm kind of interested where they're going to take that character and just that whole idea about what she's going to do. So, and then the last news, which we haven't talked about in a long time, is our good old friends over at Sci-Fi have finally come out and said they're still working on the Kyrpton series. And I'm going to read a little update that we got about the Kyrpton series. It's been almost a year since we've heard anything about Sci-Fi and Warner Television's plan for Kyrpton series, but now David S. Goyer has offered a few updates. Could the show directly tie into Zack Snyder's Man of Steel? Not sure. Last we heard, it had been given the green light from Sci-Fi, with David S. Goyer and Ian Goldberg from Once Upon a Time on board as producers. The official synopsis reveals that the show will tell the story of Kal-El's grandfather's attempt to bring peace to Kyrpton. This was back in December of 2004. So what's been going on? Collider asked Goyer about it, and he confirmed that it is indeed still in development, with an official update expected pretty soon. Part of the fun of doing Man of Steel, and I was so interested in unsettling that the opening of Kyrpton and really seeing it was pulling back the curtain. The first draft, the first 40 pages were on Kyrpton, so we compressed all that down to 15 minutes, and there were a lot of ideas that I wanted to use in the film that didn't ultimately make it into the film, said Goyer. Some have taken Goyer's comments to mean the show will be in continuity with Man of Steel, but to me it sounds like he was just using the movie's Kryptonian scenes to establish a timeline. But hey, who knows? Let's see if we hear anything else about Kyrpton. What's your thoughts on a Kyrpton series, Jania?
I don't know. I feel like it would be kind of hard to do as a series, to be honest with you, because are you going to have Supergirl? Are you going to have Superman? You know, if you don't have those two characters, is it really going to be able to hold strong? It's kind of like Gotham in that way. You know, you have Bruce Wayne, at least, and you have Gordon, which really helps. You know, but I'm talking about going back and you're going to be in Kyrpton with these characters that we are not too familiar with as far as a whole, like the people who don't read comic books. You know, everybody who knows Batman knows Bruce Wayne. Everybody who knows Batman knows Gordon. So, you know, right there, everybody can be like, oh, I recognize that character. Everybody knows Alfred. They can be like, oh, I recognize that character, you know? And they're able to, you know, enjoy it for just that. But I don't know if Kyrpton is going to be something that everybody can...
See, Solomon don't even want to see Kyrpton.
Sorry, guys. Is something that everyone can enjoy and take part in because... You know, not everybody knows who Jor-El is. Not everybody knows who Lara is. No, not everybody knows, you know, and who knows? I mean, I don't know what kind of characters they're all going to pull into the show. Maybe they won't even pull those characters in.
To me, if they did the show, I think you would have a better show if you did Jor-El, Zor-El, and Zod.
Yeah.
And about them young, growing up on Kyrpton and their rise to powers in the society.
That sounds like a very familiar plot line there, Tyler.
Yeah?
Yeah. Reminds me of something that Tyler has been working on writing, guys. He's actually a pretty good writer.
Oh, well, thanks, baby. Yes, I am. I think because if you get too far back, you get into characters you don't know, and then do we really care about Kyrpton if it's no one we know? Because our more interest is when the Kryptonians come to Earth. But that's going to wrap up Episode 2, The Kyrpton Report. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.